At which point does skepticism become paranoia? There is a very thin line between rationally asking questions about the world and literal insanity, and I think the last few years have more than taught us that fact. Is it the belief of others in a concept that makes it truer, or the evidence for it? It's the second one, yes, but sometimes the belief of others is the strongest evidence you have. Close Encounters of the Third Kind is a movie by Spielberg that tells the story of three individuals and their close encounters with an alien UFO. Throughout the movie, the characters are repeatedly stopped by government agents and concerned relatives in their attempt to understand what happened to them and if aliens exist. In their journey of discovery, they destroy their families, reputations, and bodies, almost getting themselves killed in the process. The original movie was about discovery and understanding of others. Indeed, when this movie came out in 1977, the Cold War was in full force, alien sightings were everywhere, and confirming information was difficult. So destroying your life in order to uncover the truth didn't actually seem that crazy. But looking at it from a 2021 perspective, with all the things people do these days following conspiracy theories, this movie becomes much sadder. Now, today we know that the most of the supposed government cover-ups of alien activity were much more mundane. Roswell, air balloon, Area 51, stories officers made up to distract nosy people. There are a few interesting pieces in Project Blue Book, but for some reason all the most convincing cases of alien activity take place in a part of the US where experimental aircrafts used to fly. It's almost as if the US military likes to use alien stories to cover up things. Well, I'm sure people won't fall that for anymore. Regardless, we still have to ask, if there's no evidence actually disproving you, do you still keep believing? The subject of this video also takes place in space. Well, I guess technically everything takes place in space, but just listen to me. Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor was released in 2016 to some fanfare, mostly written off as a good and fun experience that touches on current topics. When I bought this game, I was expecting to have just some simple heartwarming relaxation mixed in with a healthy dose of social commentary to not disconnect from reality too much. Well, things didn't exactly pan out the way I thought it would. Your character,
The custodian.
or the janitor for normal people, wakes up in the middle of a bazaar, a space bazaar in fact, being told how miserable her life is. Luckily, there are some fortune tellers to help to get your bearings in order. You, as we discover, are a janitor of the local municipality of the spaceport. Your job, to collect trash and burn it. But of course the spaceport is a free place and there is nothing stopping you from picking out the good bits from the trash you collect and selling them to clueless local merchants. However, your adventuring spirit goes a little too far when you accidentally get cursed by a skull while pleasure hunting and end up on a goose chase around the bazaar, trying to find the right items, money, and most importantly luck to break the curse. Luck is a critical commodity in the spaceport. Certain actions like praying or leaving offerings can bring you the favor of the many gods, or their wrath, so make sure to keep it high or low to get better items or maybe better prices. The game doesn't actually tell. The spaceport has in itself one of the most colorful and lively atmospheres you can find in a video game. Indeed, indie games do usually have a penchant for good art styles, but just look at this. There are aliens of 1,000 species speaking 1,000 foreign tongues. The stalls and buildings are bathed in color. The awful graphics actually give it a more charming, childish look. In fact, it's almost too good. Who write these musicians? Why would these money-obsessed people care about consistent color schemes? It's almost as if the main gameplay loop in the Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor is going around the city and collecting trash in the most efficient manner. In a sense, it's a trade, logistics, and color picking simulator. Our monkey brains are hardwired from birth to be really good at telling apart different objects of different sizes and color. The inventory management system gives the game another whole dimension as well. So with night approaching, let's sit back, have a quick nap, and oh well, let's eat something then. We can't really afford any of this. Well, I'm sure this Mars bar will be super good. Oh no. As described by the Steam page of the game itself, this game is sort of an anti-adventure. The first thing you do in the game is to try and go on an epic adventure like all the cool heroes and adventurers you see around the bazaar, but this adventure ends up with you being cursed by a skull. Throughout the entire game you are taunted by the sheer uncoolness of your life and character. As you go around the bazaar you can find merchants selling weapons and equipment for prices that are practically impossible for you to buy. You are not a hero, no adventurer, you are just some random janitor on a spaceport, one of millions. This allows the player to reflect on their own lives and how small our routines are compared to the adventures other people have. Just like how the janitor looks at a sword that costs more than what she's earned in her entire life in all, dreaming of adventure, we too watch movies and read books dreaming of our own adventures. It's an early example of what I like to call millennial depression games. The game also has themes on gender and its commoditization. For example, after a while you get an urge to change your gender. It's weird, I know. Here, I gathered some money and this will allow me to go to a gender shifter, which will allow me to shift my gender. Just what? The spaceport of a Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor is interesting to say the least. At the first glance, it seems to be a place of freedom. Merchants are free to trade their goods as far as we can see with little to no restriction, and there are basically no social services around save for you, the janitor. But what throws a wrench in all this is the municipality and their red scarves. Every group needs some sort of security to maintain order, but these brutes seem to be much more than just a token force of peacekeepers. They patrol the streets after dark and shake down people who are outside. But these security forces give us only a glimpse as to the true municipality. There are two other governmental services in the bazaar that we know of. First are the musicians who play music on free day. Yes, why would these people spend an entire day playing for no reason? Someone has to be paying them. They clearly don't take any money from the crowd, so the only possible source of income must be the municipality. On top of that, since the municipality owns the station itself, only they could allow the festivities to happen. Which brings us to another point. Who owns the station's space? And all the shops that occupy the streets disappear once night sets in. And once it's day again, they don't go back to their old spots. No one here owns any shops. It's all the municipality. Of course, the food stalls and blacksmiths are going to keep the same location since you can't move an oven around every day. Seeing as your own home is owned by the municipality, it's safe to say that most, if not all buildings in the spaceport are owned by them as well. Everything is owned by the same entity that decides what goes and what doesn't. Finally, we have the third arm of the municipality, the fortune tellers. This may seem weird, but it's clear that these people work with the municipality in some capacity. Unlike all the other shopkeepers, they don't rent stores. Will the municipality with their red scarves roaming around really let these vagabonds set up in their streets? Who better to act as the eyes and ears of the municipality than them? But don't these fortune tellers care about their fate? They sell religious iconography with and preach their ideas after all. Well, it's simple. They do believe in their fate, in luck. It's just that they know more about it than us. Colorful lights, the vibrant society, the music, it's all a masquerade. Look at any advertising made within the last century and you can see its reflection on this entire game. Remain happy. Everything will be fine. Continue buying. Luck is on your side. Someone should really hire Sandy Demand for their advertising agency because this is top notch work. Peel away the vibrant colors and the song of the trope and you are left with a lifeless people bent on money, an oppression of others and a sadistic display of self-destruction. In real life, many people are intelligent and self-aware enough to see when companies and governments are lying to them, but sometimes we failed. And as far as I can see, everyone in this game, including the janitor, and by extension, the player has failed. There is poverty and crime and casual bigotry, but people overlook it because they still have someone below them that they can go at. And as the bottom of the barrel, the player has a unique perspective that allows them to better reflect at all this. The propaganda machines haven't yet achieved the same level of fluff that game developers have, but they have other means of spreading their ideas. And the main ideology that fuels the masquerade that is the spaceport is the fate people have in luck. There is an invisible enemy lurking within the halls of the spaceport. Its name is bad luck. It has infiltrated every house and every corner there is. Bad luck keeps you down. It makes you poor, sick, sad. So make sure to pray every day to keep the bad luck away. After all, it's how much someone prays and leaves offerings that give them luck and makes them successful. If you happen to find yourself working the dead-end job, eating trash off the streets, don't blame anyone but yourself, for it was you who didn't take care of their luck. by. As Machiavelli puts it in The Prince, fortune may be the arbiter of half of our actions, but she still leaves us the other half, or perhaps a little less, to our free will. With intelligent work and patience, one can improve the chances of success, not guarantee it. Someone can do everything right and still fail, while others can do everything wrong and still win. By mixing together the concept of luck and hard, intelligent work together, the spaceport ensures that the downtrodden can blame both the luck they can and can't control at the same time, ensuring that they never actually improve their situation or question why they are so unlucky despite doing everything right, because the luck is inherently uncontrollable. The fact that luck has no actual effect in the game isn't just a metaphorical one. Indeed, luck is actually a sham. Don't you believe me? Take a look. Data. For a total of 15 days, I ran an experiment. For 5 in-game days, I took a record of how much and which types of trash I collected in a given day based on my luck. First, I lowered my luck to a number between -300 and -250. I gathered every single piece of trash I could find on whichever road I was walking on without exception. I divided the trash I gathered into 3 parts. Trash that is actual trash like bottles, pile and sand, somewhat sellable trash like candles, metal and cloth, and finally good trash like food, gender shift tokens, or really expensive things I can sell, or things that bring luck or money. On my low luck experiment, I collected on average 70% useless trash, 20% somewhat good trash, and 10% good trash. On the second experiment, I did the same thing, but with it being -50 and +50 luck. Results: 76% bad, 17% good, 7% very good. A difference of that size for all the work keeping your luck up. You, like most might say, keeping your luck very high or very low is actually better. But take a look at this. With +300 to +400 luck, the experiment gives the same results: 76%, 18%, 6%. It's a placebo. I looked at Let's Plays as well, and they get more or less the same loot as me regardless of their luck. And consider this, the game never once tells you what luck does. It tells you how to move using WASD, it tells you how to burn trash and gain luck and eat, but it never once tells you what luck actually does. I could not find a single meta comment or in-game tip as to what luck does. You will think that the game would explain how a supposedly important mechanic like this would work, so you might say, well, if it doesn't do anything, then what's wrong with it? And I said it absolutely does matter. All the money the janitor puts into offerings is money lost. Every moment praying is a moment not working or resting. Every failure admitted to luck is a lost opportunity to improve yourself. And no one realizes this? While this game doesn't have a huge player base about every person I've saw talking about luck simply assumes that it is good with zero actual evidence. I only paid attention to luck on my first couple of days playing the game and ended up finishing it around 6 hours playing in a leisurely manner. The finishing time seems to be around 8 hours for other people, so there has to be something here. And even if luck does something else that I didn't account for, that is not important because it doesn't change the point. No one other than the developers are actually with 100% certainty know what luck does, and yet assumes that it is important.
Decent candles, at least. You usually don't find like a good 2 or 3 on day 0.
Hmm.
And luck improves the trash you can pick up, so it's always good to pump it up as high as you can, as early as you can, because it kind of snowballs.
Oh yeah, makes sense. Isn't it? I vaguely remember you discussing in your last speedrun about the fact that praying to too many of the gods too much can actually cause a decrease in your luck, right?
Yeah, actually, I mentioned it before, but uh, and that's not me like saying, "Oh, you shouldn't have brought this up." I'm just mentioning like I mentioned it before, but there's this thing I figured out where if you pray to every goddess on the same day, like if you keep doing that every day, your luck just suddenly tanks. And I was wondering,
Hmm.
like, why can't I raise my luck? Why can't I raise my luck? And I dug through the very obscure little PDF, like instructional PDF in the files that isn't even like that instructional. It's just like, oh, here's a few things you should know in like some kind of coy cryptic text. And I was like, oh, the
Hmm.
goddesses do not like min-maxing. So I basically took 1 or 2 goddesses out of my rotation, and all of a sudden, all my runs are going great. As you saw
Hmm.
there, the second I enter my home, it runs.
But alas, it is questionable whether knowing about the nature of things even means anything. Both the close encounters of the third kind and the Diaries of a Spaceport Janitor ends with the main character boarding a spaceship to escape the world that refuses to understand them. Despite being able to save themselves, Neither of them can actually make any changes to the world they live in and are lucky enough to fully escape their situation.